Now, let's talk a little bit about botnets, and then we'll finish out this lecture with phishing. Yes, spelled with a PH. Large botnets is another tool that successful hackers can use. A bot, also called a zombie, is just a computer system somewhere that has been infected by malware. And since it is infected, the attacker can send commands to that system and have it do whatever they need. And they would not just access that local system. First off, it's not safe. Second off, it's not scalable. What they would use is bot herders, like you have a herd of bots. Let's say we have a system that is a bot herder. Maybe it controls 1,000 systems. And it then, when the attacker wants, sends commands to the infected systems. There could be another level above that. Maybe another system controlling, let's say, 10 bot herders, and another system over that. It's going to be more manageable when you have it segmented like that. But even more important, it is also much safer for the attacker. If someone else, let's say law enforcement, takes down one of the bot herders, well then maybe the attacker loses 10,000, 5,000, 1,000 zombies. But there can easily be hundreds of thousands of zombies in a network. Also, the more links you have between the infected system and the actual attacker, the safer it is for the attacker. As mentioned, they are smart people. Let's say Bob, on his work computer, visits a site that he probably shouldn't. His computer gets infected by a hidden payload in an application or a game because Bob is bored at work. If we had proper access control and did not allow our employees to install things on their systems, this could probably have been avoided. But apparently, in this situation, we did not. The malware is installed. Since it was hidden in another application, it is a Trojan. And now that workstation can be controlled remotely for whatever the attacker wants, often through IRC, HTTP, or HTTPS. Some bots, as soon as they are infected, they activate. Some of them lay dormant until they are activated. And that could be a long time. It just sits there and does nothing, which probably also means it goes undetected. Some of them might siphon data from your system, and some of them don't care. They just need your system to launch an attack on something else. They might use your system to send spam emails or be part of a DDoS attack or something else where they need a lot of systems to do something. Botnets are set up in a CNC network, command and control, like you can see over here on the right, but a real network is obviously way more complex. And a smart attacker would most often use jump boxes or something similar where there's multiple links they go through that are all secure before they actually connect to one of the bot herders. Then the ones they connect to other bot herders that connects to others that may connect to the clients. And as mentioned, in large networks, there could be 100,000 or more zombies in that network. If they want to target a website that is set up to handle, let's say, 1,000 consecutive users. Now, if all of a sudden 100,000 or 200,000 clients try to connect to that one server at the same time, it is most likely going to crash. Or if not, the bandwidth is going to take such a hard hit that regular traffic just won't work either. That is a DDoS attack, distributed denial of service. Distributed is all the zombies. Let's finish this lecture by talking about phishing. That can either be regular phishing, spear phishing, whale phishing, or vishing. And that is just phishing, regular phishing, spelled with PH in a clever way. It is social engineering, and the first three are through email. Those are the ones where they send out emails in order to compromise our system or get information or have you pay them money. I'm sure we all have seen those emails. Click here to win. Remember to claim your $50 Amazon card, or congratulations, your rich uncle has left you $1 billion. Send us $5,000 to claim it. Regular phishing is throwing a very wide net. It is sent to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and they only need a tiny percentage of those for it to be worth it. One of the examples that I feel a little bit bad about, but it is a good example, was the public treasurer in Michigan that sent $1.2 million to Nigeria so he could get his $300 million that the bank was keeping for him. He sent $1.1 million of taxpayer funds, and he sent $72,000 of his own. Even if they sent 10 million emails or 100 million emails, that one reply is worth all of them. Here again, if we train our staff and raise the awareness, this would never have happened. We need to train our staff to question the emails they get, and if at all they are not certain, they need to forward them to IT security. And this is the awareness I talked about when we used gamification. We reward them when they do good stuff. And as mentioned, these bulk phishing emails are pretty easy to spot. But the more complex they are, the better designed, the more specific, the more personal, the harder they are to spot, and the higher chance they have of succeeding. Which brings us to spear phishing. Spear phishing is phishing that is targeted. Here, we don't send 100 million emails. Here, we send one email to one person that is targeted at them. The attacker would have some prior knowledge either about the person or the company they work for. If they have both, even better. Hey Jane, this is Bob from IT Security. I just talked to your manager John, and he said there were some problems with your workstation. Can you send me your username and password? Seems legit, and if we have done our training right, Jane would know to question this, maybe check in with her boss, maybe send it to IT Security. If not, well, then maybe the attacker is successful. And then the next level up from spear phishing is whale phishing. Just like the spear phishing, these are well-crafted emails, they have some prior knowledge, and they are targeted at senior management. Because senior management are interesting targets. They have the decision power. Also, most of them are not very well versed in IT, and definitely not in IT security. And they want to do what's best for the company. So they can get a legal-looking email, well-crafted, with attachments saying, your company is going to get sued for $2 million if you do not fill out these documents before Friday. The attacker doesn't care if they fill out the documents, has nothing to do with that. The CEO is going to click on the attachment to see what it is. The attachment has a Trojan. The system is now infected. Here again, training, awareness. This can be slightly more difficult on C-levels. First off, they are super busy. Second off, they also sometimes seem to not need any training at all in anything. Do brief 5-minute training with them, go to their office, explain the problem, find some horrible examples of when it happened to someone else, how bad it was financially, and then show them, hey, just check here, look for this, don't open attachments, and then reinforce it every so often. On top of that, we also obviously have the technical countermeasures where we filter and quarantine emails, but we still need to make sure that our users have the appropriate training, they understand it, they use it, and that we have raised their awareness. And then we have Vishing, voice phishing. These are automated attacks over the phone using voice over IP. It is in bulk. It is very similar to regular phishing. Here, they call 1,000 or 10,000 people saying, your taxes are due, your account is locked, give us your whatever information to prevent something horrible from happening. They can technically also be real people. The vast majority are not. But just like the spear phishing and the whaling, they can be more targeted and more well researched. And with phone calls, it is often harder to filter out the bad ones unless we have an advanced phone filtering system, which almost no one does. We're used to just let all calls go through. I live in Puerto Rico. We used to live in Hawaii. I have an 808 area code number, which is the area code for Hawaii. And at some point, I got 2, 3, 4 calls every day in Chinese because there's a big Chinese population in Hawaii, and a lot of those are elderly people. When someone calls them in Chinese, they answer and most often do what they ask. So these poor elderly people get scammed out of their money. Yeah, also makes me angry. But you see the pattern here, right? We train our users to make them more aware. Training is an ongoing thing, but it will help them spot the fake emails, the fake calls. They know not to let someone in to our building that doesn't have a key card, to not leave the door open when they go out and smoke. And users are and should be an integral part of our layered defense. And with that, we are done. Thank you for hanging in there, and I will see you in the next lecture.